This is a brief video on how to join letters together, mainly the ones that sometimes cause a bit of difficulty or are a bit quirky. So just to show you, but to remind you that the main thing to remember when joining letters together is that they stay their same shape, and the first letter denotes the position, so it doesn't matter if the other letters go in different positions on the line as long as the first one is in the correct position. So let's start with B, and B, the circle can go round if it's joined to T to the top, and round to the bottom if it's joined to D, to show the difference between T and D. So when possible, you can show the difference between T and D. So I just went round in a circle and then stopped at the top and continued for the circle when it was D all the way round to the bottom. But if I was joining it to R, I don't have to close it. I just go, make sure that it looks like a B and not an L. CT, now this is one time when, because C is such a small letter and it always looks like a C no matter where it is, you can put it above the line when it's joined to T and on the line when it's joined to D. And in later lessons you're going to see that you can blend it, which is what will happen with speed anyway. So instead of stopping when you get to the T or D or R, C, R, you can do an umbrella handle type shape and blend it together. CL, again, if you want to put L in its correct position, you put C above the line. Don't have to, but then obviously L will be below the line, and that doesn't matter as long as it looks the same. Now G has to have a loop. It's obviously not a loop there because it's blended with the F, so it looks a bit more angled. But as long as you go up, because if you go down, then that's really J. And although I'm sure you still recognise that as fudge, remember the D is silent, really when you're joining G, to show that it's a G, you need that hook always visible. So H, G, P, G, N, G. You could try to think of some words for these. Hedge, page, nudge. So I'm just writing the letter at the bottom of the previous letter. So F ended here, so I went up and down for the G. P ended here, so I went up and down for the G. H, R, H and R, and this shows you that H and R and T and D and B are the same sizes. There's a whole other video on letter sizes, but just to be sure, R is going to stop where the H started because it's the same size. LK. Now notice that sometimes the L doesn't have that loop, and that loop, it doesn't matter if you don't have it here with call, but you are having to stop, make an effort to stop when you write CL, whereas it has a natural little flick like that, so that's that just comes naturally. But when it's joined to K or M or N, it can be straighter. Don't put the hook in. Now, as I always say, I don't want you to try and have to worry about rules and regulations, so don't try and think, I must write that down, L is straight before an M. It'll come naturally. And if you try it, actually, it looks awkward if you do it the other way with the hook. And the final type of L is L going upwards. So again, you'll see when it feels awkward. That's not wrong, it's still ML and you can still see that it's an M and an L, but if you try it yourself, you'll see that it's easier to do the L upwards in certain cases. PPR, PP and R, and here you can see that I've got two P's here like pepper or paper because the R only stops at the second P. So if there was only one P, like pour, it would look like that. And I've just remembered something I wanted to say more about the K, and I think I'll just change the colour of the pen so you can see it more clearly. Some people, when they write K, tend to want to do it up and down, like that. Again, it's not wrong and it still looks like K, but it's a waste of time. All you have to do when you add a K is go back from the end of the letter. I'll do that again so you can see. T, K. Just go back. C, K. Don't go up and down. Just go back. Sometimes it might be blended with the previous letter. RK. Not that there are many words with R and K, but in case you wanted to join those together for a name, then that's what it would look like. So let's have a look at R on its own, and it's angled, but if you angle it too much, then the next letter might go through the line, but it doesn't matter. But you can angle it in a way that if it's added to an R or a B, an L or a B, then the next letter can end up on the line, in the correct position on the line. S and T, there is another video on joining S, because S can be written in two ways. But again, when you come across an alternative, try them both and see which feels better for you. But if you do the S that way, you tend to get a bit of a curve sometimes. So you want to try and avoid doing S in that direction when it's just attached to a straight stroke. So let me just show you very quickly again. All I did, and it's the same with all letters, is you finish, or you start the second letter where the first letter ended. So BT, and if I wanted BTL, I just continue, and you'll see that the L will end up a little bit below the line because it's attached to the T, which is lower. BR, I haven't closed the B, but BL, I would close it. CT, wherever the C stops, I start the T, and eventually at speed it will blend in together, and that's good. NG, let's do it up here. Don't forget that hook for the G. And one final thing, if I had PN, don't try and get, let's do HN. Don't try and get N on the line, otherwise it won't look like N, and at speed it will look like M. So you want to make sure that N always has that little tail.